tip-off between the Lakers and the Nuggets. It's in 2 hours, though, so it's not like we're going anywhere. It's a 5-game Tuesday night in the NBA. And like I said, we're with you until tip-off. You guys ready?
I'm ready.
We're ready.
You look ready.
Yes.
I like it. Let's do this. Well, let's talk first and foremost about the Lakers because they got off to, at least according to expectations, a rough start, a rocky start. But they're turning things around. We're taking a look at the numbers between October and November. Coach, what has been the most glaring difference in those first 2 months of the season?
Well, I think they figured out how they were going to defend different plays and different options on the. They switch a lot of stuff now, and they have a lot of defenders that are like sized, and so they can get away with switching a lot. You know, they can actually now put LeBron on the 4 and 5 man when they play small. They've got 2 shot blockers now with JaVale McGee and Tyson Chandler. So their defense is much more cohesive. You know, you start off with a new group, Luke Walton's looking at everybody, and you say, okay, we're going to ice the side. You have all this stuff. Man, you played for 2 weeks ago. That junk doesn't work.
Yeah.
You know? And then you say, okay, what's the simplest thing we can do? The simplest thing you can do in the NBA is switch. But you have to have the proper personnel to do it. But once you do that, you do keep everything in front of you. Grant and I are switching. We're not involving the 3 other players. We're taking care of our business. And they've just simplified everything down to the point of where they're tight defensively, not transition. Transition defense still for them is a major issue in my opinion, watching them play. But half-court defense is pretty solid.
And you know, Chris, at the start of the season, I thought, okay, this team doesn't have the shooting, the scoring that we're accustomed to seeing that complements LeBron James on the perimeter. But I thought with the athleticism, defensively, they could guard a lot of these teams. And they did struggle. And those numbers that you saw in that graphic there were pretty staggering. I like to think that the addition of Tyson Chandler, you know, a guy who has been on the championship team, really isn't anchored defensively. JaVale McGee is a lively body, a shot blocker, but I don't know if he has the presence defensively that a Tyson Chandler has. And they're 7-2 with him in the lineup, and when he's on the court, their defense is certainly ramped up a bit. So not giving him all the credit, but I think his presence has certainly played a big role. And yeah, you know, not only are they limiting teams now from 120 to 109 points, but also offensively, their numbers, they were scoring 120 points a game. But they've kind of brought the pace down a little bit, and they've just kind of settled in. As you said, you bring new bodies together. You have the expectations now of LeBron where everything is accelerated. You go from a team that is a lottery team to all of a sudden a team that is expected to go far. So it takes a minute, but they figured it out. And obviously this will be a huge game for them against this Nuggets team.
That's usually what happens when LeBron James is on your roster. They did, though, hand the Nuggets their first loss of the season earlier this season. And LeBron addressed the media, talking about what could possibly be done differently against the Nuggets tonight.
This team is creative and unique. How much do you have to change your game playing against Jokic and this team?
No, we don't change our game for anybody. We play our game, and you know, they're very good, very dynamic. So many guys can shoot the outside shot. So many guys can get into the lane. You know, they got multiple ball handlers, but we don't change our game for anybody.
Well, they may not change their game for the Nuggets, but they have certainly changed their game, at least defensively. Coach, what have you seen from the team as of late?
Well, defense is really 2 things. It's an awareness and effort. And if you know, you can have all the effort in the world, but if you're not aware of where the ball is and where you got to drop to, it doesn't work. So it's a combination of just being really driven by effort and then awareness. And you can see right here, they're coming down. And this is what I'm saying. In transition, you've got to have people, everybody, look at 2 guys go to the ball. There's no talking. Look, I mean, look at this. This drives you nuts as a coach. 2 run to the ball. Nobody talks. There's no communication. Like I said, their transition defense is poor. This is just really bad defense. You jump up this high on a guy, literally the guy would have to be in 1st grade not to go back door on that play. I mean, that is such poor defense.
Maybe even then.
maybe kindergarten. But, you know, here you go. Now, this happens a lot. You collapse the defense. That's what you want to do. Caldwell Pope has no idea. He's guarding the line. And here's the crazy thing. He could have thrown it for a dunk, and he laid it up. And you're going to see right now, transition defense. Okay, Tyson Chandler hits the floor. Look at him jog. Watch it, and then watch this. Okay, this is a layup. Stop right there. LeBron James isn't even in the play. I mean, this is after everything walked out. That's when you're a coach. you start off by telling LeBron in private, hey, that can't happen. And then if that doesn't work, you just, in front of the group, just say, hey, look, run that clip back. Everybody's got to get back. So LeBron has a great awareness defensively where to be. Sometimes his effort, like that last play, is not what it needs to be. Their transition defense is very scattered. Their half-court defense is pretty tight because they switch things, a simple concept. But their transition defense, I'm not big on.
And you know what's interesting when you see those plays, and obviously they were able to pull out that win, but there's improvement.
They weren't.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah.
Against they beat the Nuggets last time they played them.
Yeah.
But there is room for improvement.
Yes.
And that's the thing. These are just little simple mental breakdowns that I believe can be fixed. But it's a lack of connectivity and being on the same page. And if they can figure that out, I do think they have a chance to at least be a playoff team here in this Western Conference with LeBron James. But they can't have mental mistakes. The transition defense has to be more solid. And they will be tested here on the road here against this Nuggets team.
No question. They are a playoff team. LeBron James took Booby Gibson to the. Let me tell you, to the NBA Finals. Yeah,
people, and it was going to get offensive really
fast. Yeah, but he took Booby Gibson to the NBA Finals. Okay, believe me, he's going to take this group. They're going to make the playoffs, and they're a tough out with him on the team.
Yeah.
I agree with you. There's little things they got to pick up on. And one of the little things is, I think, getting his lineup squared away, Luke Walton, with the addition of Tyson Chandler, and playing small when it works, and then playing big. I like the fact that they will actually play big and pound you on the board a little bit. They lead the league, or they're second in the league in paint points. So they may shoot a few threes, but I'm telling you right now, they are taking that ball to the lane, getting in the paint, and making a lot of tough shots like that.
So I'm not going to lie to you. When I asked you about defensive adjustments, I kind of assumed we were going to roll some Lakers highlights. Those were all very much lowlights.
Yes.
But his lone triple-double, his being LeBron James, this season came against the Denver Nuggets. Do you expect to see more of that offensively, the way that he had to shoulder that offensive load early in the season, or do you think that the offensive approach has changed?
I think it's changed myself personally. I just think that their defense is better, so they're getting more runouts. They don't shoot a lot of threes, Grant's right. They're not a great three-point shooter, but they score in the paint at will almost against teams. So they're putting their head down and they're driving. And honestly, at this stage of LeBron's career, I'm not sure that he wants to be a triple-double machine. You know what I mean? It can happen, but he just would rather give these young guys a lot of rope and a lot of room to just go out there and kind of find out who they are. And they're still doing that. They're still finding, you have players out there who are so young. They're trying to figure out their game. And then as a young player, not only trying to figure out what you can do, you're trying to figure out how you can do it inside of the team. And so there's a lot of stuff going on. I think LeBron's going to take a step back. I think their defense is picked up. They can run more. They can drive and attack more. And you'll see him just settling in and just playing really good, solid basketball.
Yeah, Kevin, I agree. I think LeBron, we see his gifts, his talent, his size, his athleticism, but his basketball intellect is obviously off the charts, maybe one of the greatest of all time. And I think this team is a different team. The makeup, the style, the fact that they're young, the athleticism they have. And so I think he has made a bit of an adaptation. And for him at this point in his career, it's about managing the season. A couple of years ago, last year, it was amazing what he was doing in the regular season for that Cavs team, having to shoulder so much responsibility, and that ages you, as an older player who's logged a lot of minutes throughout his career, and so I think he is, as K-Max said, he's a little bit more in cruise control. He's downshifted. He's empowering his teammates. He's figuring out what they can and can't do, what they like. And so, I think this will preserve him throughout the season and keep him fresh when they do get to the playoffs, where now he can maybe shoulder a little bit more of that responsibility.
He, by the way, is just 36 minutes away from becoming the 18th player ever to log 45,000 career regular season minutes.
Well, I get tired just thinking about that.
Like,
we get a 20.